Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Convention Confessional. My name is Katy Hunt, and I'm here to guide you through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the convention world. And I know you guys are probably sick of hearing about it because probably all I've talked about subtly and not so subtly on this podcast for the last, I don't know, year is Anime Boston. But sorry guys, you're getting one more because I actually got to go after 2 years. And uh, I mean, people, you have to understand if you're listening to this podcast and you've been trapped in your house for the most part of this pandemic and you haven't gone to a convention yet, especially a convention that means so much to you, it, it's like going home. It's crazy how long it's been since I've seen some of these people, and to see them again after so long and falling right back into place like nothing ever happened. It was awesome. So this episode, I kind of want to talk about the weekend, a review, I guess, of sorts, but also just the experience of it all, like coming back after 2 years and seeing all my friends and putting on a convention for the first time. You weren't there. You have no opinion, sir. Wash, my co-host. Sorry. He makes an appearance to your room. Thank you. Now, no, Wash did not go to the convention with me. He doesn't even like leaving the house, let alone 28,000-ish people. So, um, there's a lot of prep going back because one, I had just moved, as you all know, which is why the podcast wasn't around for a few minutes. So remembering to one, pack all of my stuff separate from the stuff that I was packing did not go as planned. I did find everything for the most part of importance. Thankfully, past Katie decided to put things in a spot where she'd be able to find them. Thank God. Um, but there's a lot more prep as far as, different medications and things to take, um, immune boosters, a lot more hand sanitizer, specialty masks that I haven't normally worn just because, again, you're going to be around that many people. Sir, you're going to be around that many people. You want to wear like that really nice like KN95 masks and things like that just to give you that extra layer of protection. Anime Boston was requiring people to be vaccinated and have a mask this year. Um, and I know a lot of people have opinion about that because, if you're fully vaccinated, then why do you have to wear a mask? But you know what? People are still immune compromised. I totally understand it. It didn't bother me one bit. I had absolutely no issue with the rules. Being a staff member, and if I was just going as an attendee, everybody just wants to be safe and have a good time. So, no complaints. Um, yeah, packing it up, and then Thursday, I had to be down in Boston because we have our annual all-call meeting. But you also want to get checked into your hotel room and meet your roommates or see your roommates. I knew all my roommates, so I didn't meet anybody. um, Got down there, got all checked in, no problems. Uh, and then it was just nice because, okay, we're back in Boston and you see like the Prudential Center's changed up a little bit, and I got to have some lunch with friends that I haven't seen in a hot minute. And there was that element of, okay, we haven't seen this place in 2 years, but it felt like normal again. And feeling normal for a few minutes at all during all of this is such a win. You're walking down the hallways of the Prudential Center or the Hines, and you're seeing people you haven't seen in a few years. Um, just was so nice to see people were, one, okay, and two, back doing something they loved as well. So yeah, Thursday was the big hi. I missed everybody. It's nice to see you again. The all call meeting for the staff members, um, which is hysterical because they played this video for the Hines, and the guy that is actually the security person for the Hines Convention Center even kind of made fun of his own video. He's like, okay, listen, I know the music isn't great in this, and I know you guys like enjoy it, like to make fun of it. because the music is so hokey. But it is very informative to know where the exits are in the building should we have to scoot people out. So, even seeing like the crappy Heinz Convention Center security video was awesome. I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, we're back and it's happening. You get to meet up with your the staff people you work with again. And I missed all of them, and it was good to see them. We didn't have everybody this year, and again, that's just because of people's, one, personal safety levels, two, schedules, three, some people have had children in the midst of this pandemic, can't leave kids alone, but everybody was missed, and I hope next year we've got the whole family back. You are very informative today, sir. Do you know that? Sir. Anyways. Oh, how would I run this podcast without you? We'll never know. Now, Thursday, get to bed. Long day ahead of us. Friday, I put on a cosplay for the first time in 2 years. I mean, I dressed up for Halloween the last couple of years, sure. But some of those costumes, you're like, oh, I'll make this costume and we'll wear it to a convention next year. Just kidding. We'll wear it next year. Just kidding. So, per usual, I busted out a costume I've worn a million times. And yeah, you'd think like 2 years into a pandemic, you're like, sure, I've had all this time and I haven't been to a convention. So obviously, I've made like 50 new costumes. That is not the case. I made basically nothing new. So, I wore Percy on Friday, only to find out that the photo shoots and everything for Critical Role were on Saturday when I had no time to dress up. So, typical. But I had a really good time dressed up as Percy. People loved it, that recognized it, and that's all I care about. Friday morning, before Masquerade HQ opened up, there was a little bit of wandering that went on. As a staff person, we have little secret entrances here and there that we can get in to the convention center faster if we need to, because we have to get to an event or help or run our shift or whatever. So I got to see the dealer's room empty at a convention for the first time ever. And honestly, you guys, it was kind of awesome. Like, there's just nobody, like, people are in there setting up, but there was nobody else in there, so you get to like move around, and if you wanted to, you could go look at the booths and things beforehand. Obviously, you can't buy anything yet because nobody's ready to sell, but it was so crazy seeing the dealer's room that empty when it's usually like nose to nose people the entire time you're in there. So that was kind of cool. But we went around and checked out all the floors and stuff. I went and found where my panel room was going to be that night before my shift started at Mask HQ. And that was really awesome too, because I made all the badges the night before to make our lives easier. So it was just people coming in and collecting their badges and checking their audio if they were doing a performance. Starting to get judged by our judges because our craftsmanship judges are parked right behind us. So we got them all checked in and seeing people, and they were so excited. And some people, it was their first convention, and some people, it's been like their 50th convention and not their first rodeo. Definitely never rode a horse before, but we helped everybody get through it. And I hope everybody had a good time, but we'll get to Saturday in a little bit. And then in the midst of all of this, also, I've mentioned on here a few times, our friend Rhodey had passed away. His fiance had sent some of his hosting attire to us. I am now the wielder of his jacket that I will bring back to the convention with me in the years to come, kind of as our good luck charm. One of his t-shirts, because he loved Felix, goggles and things, but we'd set up a tiny little like memorial in the room for people to like put stuff on if they want to. And I think for the most part, because again, we'll get to it later on, for the most part, it was just us that added to it. It was fine. It was for us, and it was for people that came in and they loved Rhodey, and they loved it when they came in and they saw it. And we had a huge bacon inflatable because he loved bacon. His jacket, we'd made some pictures and stuff. And it was nice. It was just nice to have like feel like he was there in some respect because we didn't want to forget the man, the myth, nor the legend. So it was just nice to have him in the room with us. And Friday, when my shift was over, ran, got changed, became a person, uh, went and changed into my number 5 from Umbrella Academy costume, which got recognized, and I wasn't expecting it because I felt like my costume was not that good, but okay. So thank you to anybody that said they liked it because, again, sure. I like wearing the costume. I just didn't expect people to recognize me. It's always funny. It's a hit or miss at an anime convention. Like that's kind of quote unquote strictly an anime convention, not a Comic Con or something like that, where you wear a costume that isn't from an anime because when you get recognized, you're just like, oh wow, okay, people do watch other stuff. That's nice. You like to hope, anyways. I remember back when I was doing anime conventions for the first time, and I'd see people out of an anime costume. I'm like, what are you doing? This is an anime convention. And now I've turned into the person that doesn't really wear anime costumes anymore. Not that I don't want to. I just don't watch a lot of the more recent stuff. And, time's a thing. Who has it anymore? I'm hoping next year I will have one or two actual anime costumes to wear to the convention. But I say that now and I'll be back here in a year going, yeah, that didn't happen. But it's nice to think it might. Um, Anyways, wow, off track. Hey, ADD, what's up? We're back, and I changed into 5, went downstairs, and I did a little shopping, poking around, went to the artist alley. I do a lot of my shopping in the artist alley. Not that I have anything against the dealer's room, because obviously they're going to have, like, the big name, like, official t-shirts and DVDs and blah, 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 like, all that stuff. But, like, the dealer's room, 1, you're helping local artists. 2, sometimes they have the coolest shit. Like, the prints and their like all the different keychains and things and the fan art for certain fandoms and things that you can't get in dealer's room because some of those fandom and OTPs and things just don't exist. And then their own t-shirts with their own cool design. So a personal, I like getting stuff in the dealer's the artist alley. I'm trying to record this like 2 days after a convention, guys, bear with me. I'm still recovering. In the artist alley because I'm helping out a artist. But I got a keychain. I got a cute little like crocodile banana thing. I think he was in the dealer's room though. But we were at prize support putting our stuff together for masquerade prizes, and we had found this banana that was a crocodile, and I became very obsessed with him, and then found out he was in the dealer's room somewhere. So I got a teeny tiny little one, and I love him. He's just so cute. I love him. Um, Anyways, I was number 5, walking around buying stuff in the dealer's room. And my phone starts going off and they're like, hey, where are you? Katie, where are you at? Are you close by? Can you do some improv? Question marks like everywhere. I'm like, what? Improv? And I'm thinking to myself, like, improv at an anime convention. Like, is there supposed to be like a comedy show at some point? Like, did I miss something? Because I'm not thinking at this point. I'm like, what are they talking about? So I wander back to Masquerade HQ, and Brian, who is our assistant HQ person. Hi. Our assistant HQ person. Um, he's like, yeah, I guess one of the guests didn't come or dropped out of Anime Unscripted, and they need somebody. So what are you doing? And I was like, wait, Anime Unscripted is run by Patrick, who's been on the show a million times before. Very good friend. And I was like, oh, nothing. And it ends before my panel starts. So I guess I'm going to the auditorium. So I get up there and we're just happy to see each other. And we're waiting for the event to end. And we kind of go over a few things. And in walk a few of the guests of honor who are now a part of Anime Unscripted, and I did the thing, guys. I improved for an hour with people that have done this a couple hundred times and not done it at all, and we played like party games. And if you've ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, that's basically what Anime Unscripted is. Same idea. and it's a really good time. If you ever see it on the docket at an event near you, mostly run by Mr. Patrick, I believe, but I'm sure other conventions have some kind of idea of it somewhere. We can't be the coolest people in the world and be the only ones that thought of it. But if you ever see it somewhere, I highly recommend it because it's just people making fools of themselves. And Greg Ayers, one of the voice actors, he and I got sat next to each other, and Greg and I know each other from doing conventions past. I don't think we should ever be sat next to each other again because all we did was cause trouble. We had one in particular skit that we did, and we were talking about a movie, and the other two people, Matt and Brittany, had to act out what we had just described. And I believe the movie was Shrek versus Beetlejuice. But Craig and I were treating it like a Time Warner classic. Like, hello, my name is very proper, talking about Beetlejuice and Shrek, like learning to love one another and fighting, and it was good. And that's the thing too with those kind of games, is that you kind of screw over the other people, make them act ridiculous against their own will. So that was a great time. It went over really well. The crowd seemed to really love it. Hopefully one or all three of those voice actors at some point might be on my podcast, but I'm not gonna say anything right this moment because nothing is set in stone, but there is some interest, so that is exciting. So we might hear from them as well. So then I had to fly upstairs and I found my panel room. Last week's episode, if you're listening to this now, you've already heard it, was our live episode. Was it perfect? No. Was it the best audio in the world? No again. But here's the deal. It happened. We did the thing and we had a really good time. And I wanted to put the audio out there just because I cleaned it up the best that I could. And you can hear some of the stories about it. You definitely hear the story that won because good Lord. Who gets a tattoo in their hotel room from somebody they've just met? Like, what in the shit is that? Why? Like, ugh. But anyways, everybody that came, thank you so much. If you're listening to this, and you actually decided to listen to the podcast after that panel we had, there was about 20, 25 of you. I appreciate all of you. I'm so glad you came out. You could have been watching AMVs. You could have been doing anything. That's the other thing too. We got pitted against the AMV contest, and some other big event. So the fact that many people showed up, excuse me, really, honestly, truly, like, it means a lot. Let's see. So then we did our panel. It was awesome. My friend showed up. It was a really good night. Like, got home late, went to the Buke across the street and got food with one of my friends. And then turned in for the night because Saturday morning, had to get up at 6:45 in the morning because I had to be at the auditorium for 7:45 in the morning so that we could start masquerade rehearsals. Oh God. Everybody did such a good job, like, with their rehearsals, and I get it. It's tricky. It's tricky because everybody's trying to, figure out what the hell they're doing, and, like, the lights, the tech, the poor people that have either done it before or haven't done it before, and they're all freaking out because it's a very intimidating stage. It's a very big audience. It's about 3,000 people, I believe. And you're putting yourself out there for people, so yeah, like, it's scary. Not for me though, because I have literally looked out into the depths and the void of that crowd for many a year now, and I was exhausted. So it's like, who could be scared when you're tired? You're just like, next. We did rehearsal. That took about 3.5 hours. Went upstairs, showered, changed into clothing that wasn't something I had just found, and was like, well, it's pants, and that's good enough. Changed into my hosting outfit. And then I had a little bit of more free time on Saturday, just to go meet up with some people. I went and went around the dealer's room and the artist alley again. I stopped in at a few panels just to see what was going on. And then the masquerade. Pew, pew. So, my normal at the masquerade is to go around and if I'm not sure how to pronounce something, I get the phonetics from people about how to pronounce their name or their character's name. I'm just going to go on the record now because I feel like I have to kind of defend myself a little bit here. Um, of no reason but my own, like, getting in my own headspace. I do the best I can as a person. Everybody does. I mean, I hope, anyways, everybody does the best they can to pronounce things and do it right. And I don't want anyone to ever be offended by the fact that I can't talk good. Yes, I'm a host and I should be able to talk good. I do. But sometimes like you mispronounce things. It's like a lot going on. Things get mispronounced. There's no ill will behind it. Like nobody's perfect, I guess is the moral of the story. Nobody in this life is perfect. Would it be nice if I was perfect? Of course. That would be great. But there was a couple of, like, I felt like I flubbed up. Everyone told me that I had done fine, but there was a couple of flub ups, especially at the very end of the masquerade, pronouncing things, because at that point, it's 11:30 at night, and we're all working on 2 hours of sleep and no food. And, everyone was just like, okay, we got to get through this. So if you are listening to this and I happen to flip up your name at some point, I apologize. I do the best I can. But I don't feel like it was too bad. Everyone seemed to tell me that I'm losing my mind and that it was fine. But, you get in your head and I just want to make peace with it. But, it was a really great masquerade and the crowd loved it. Everyone had such a good time. But I think what we all came to realize was we had made a tribute video for Rhodey. And about 4 minutes into it, when they had finally put up in the video that he had passed away, and 3,000 people audibly gasped together. And then we realized that no one had really put anything out on social about it. Us as his friends knew about it because, we're all friends on Facebook, that kind of thing. But there was never really like a public post made about it. So everybody kind of found out at the same time that Rhodey wasn't joining us. And that was heartbreaking to me. Not that I thought it was going to be easy because, you figure not everybody knew anyways. But it was sad. And when the lights came back up and we had planned it like, okay, we have to keep going, there was definitely like this moment of hesitation between Lindsay and I where we're just like, okay, we need a second. Okay, we got to keep going. Because honestly, at the end of the day, and we said it there, we'll say it here, he would have hated if we had given up and just been like, this is going to be the worst night ever, and we're just going to be sad the whole time. That wasn't who he was as a person. It's just not how we roll, period, as a group. So we had our sad moment in the video, and then we pretty much rolled out a declaration that this is going to be one of the best masquerades ever, and we're doing it for him. So we did. And it was one of the best masquerades we've had in a long time. We had fun, and there were different props that people let us borrow to like throw on stage. Like we had this dice that we were rolling during the masquerade for kept rolling a 17 though. It was a good masquerade. No natural ones. Somebody had made a stuffed goose for their skit, and I ended up claiming it for the rest of the masquerade after their skit. His name is Bacon, by the way, and I love him. I did not get to keep Bacon, but stay tuned because we believe Bacon will ride again. We're in talks with the person who made him, so yay! But stay tuned. And we rolled for Goose, and he rolled in at 20. So, I mean, if that's not the signs of a good night, I don't know what is. Yeah, like all the skits were so good and everybody was so cute, and everybody in their first masquerades or like their like millionth masquerade, they were adorable and they did such a good job. The tech staff is always amazing. Like we have some moments at rehearsal that were completely cleared up by the time we got to the event because they're all amazing and good. And I just, yeah, it was such a fun night. And we had made a joke at the beginning of the masquerade about staying on time because Rhodey and I sometimes go a little bit over because we like talking and the crowd gets interacted. And we want to, we want to like play to the crowd and the people and make them feel good. And it would go over sometimes. So I made a declaration that I was going to stay on time for Rhodey, and Lindsay laughed at me because she thinks she's funny. And I was like, okay, great. And then about a minute into the last skit, I was just like, what's our time? And she didn't want to tell me. And I was like, what is our time? She goes, you're a half an hour early. I'm like, I'm a half an hour early. So we get on stage and I have my little clipboard book and I'm done. And I like just toss it on the stage and I'll make her come out on stage. I was like, get out here. And I was like, you tell them what you just told me. And she didn't want to. And I was like, do it anyways. And she told the crowd that we were a half an hour early. And just as loud as they gasped when they found out about Rhodey, they screamed when they found out that I had accomplished my goal. And it was just one of these, is this moment of just, I mean, we knew like it was going to be good, like between me and Lindsay, like it was nothing like haha rubbing it in her face because it was just like, yes, we're on time, like good, we can move on with things. But the fact that they reacted to it so well, and it was a moment that I really hope, like I'm waiting for the videos to come out if they come out for Anime Boston's Masquerade, because I just want like to encapsulate that moment because it was awesome. It was one of my favorite moments of the night, honestly. Then we did some TikTok videos people had sent in, and the AMV contest winners came up. We set up our masquerade trophies and craftsmanship trophies, and then came the shitstorm at the end where I felt like I had screwed up everything because I can't talk sometimes. But again, everything working against me, my body was trying to shut down. So it's like, we're done. I'm like, we can't be done. I still have to announce like 6 things. Please don't do this to me. But we made it. We got through it. It was a great night overall. Again, people very receptive to it. I love all of you. If you're listening to this and you went to Masquerade and you love the Masquerade, I love all of you. Thank you so much for making it such a great show, being in it and or coming to see it. And I can't wait to continue providing and helping to provide a great show for all of you. So got food at midnight because that's a convention life. And then we went to bed, quote unquote, went to bed for a few hours before Sunday came around. And Sunday's mostly like a cleanup day / final meetings with staff about what we can do for next year or in the coming year. And yeah, like I didn't do a lot on Sunday because we were just done. it was done just as fast as it begins, it ends. And for people going to the convention, you still have a whole day to go to the convention, whereas for us it's just like, wow, we've done all this work now for 2 years just to be like, it's over in like a moment. And it's such a good moment, and there's this like rewarding quality to it, and I'm so happy to be a part of it now. I went to the convention for so many years just as an attendee, and then I went for so many years as just like a judge. But now actually getting to be a part of making this moment for other people, especially people in the years to come, it's quite an honor, really. Like that I get to do this as a job, a side job. Not my main job. I wish I could just go around every week and host a convention, but wishes someday when I'm like retired from like real life jobs, I'm just gonna go sign up for like 70 conventions and host their masquerades. It's like old little grandma, like he. And then we had our staff party, and they rented out Lucky Lane's the bowling alley. There it is. That's the word. For us, we had a good time, arcade games and bowling, and it was just like a good staff night. And then you had to come back to reality, and yeah, that sucks. But since the pandemic is slowing down, I won't say it's gone because it's not. We'll be back next year around Easter, so April 7th through the 9th. So we have less time to get ready, but also it's still a year away. If you look at it, like, it's still a year off. So next year's going to be awesome. I think the theme is idols. Like, the people that do the groups of singers that all dance together. That is the theme next year. This year was food. Next year's idols. So I got to figure out what the hell I'm wearing to hosting, because I try to go with the theme every year, like wear something. Um, yeah, I don't know what to wear. I am not wearing an idol costume though. The crowd does not need any of that. Throwing that on the table, absolutely not. But yeah, that was Anime Boston this year, guys, and it was such a good time, and I can't wait to do it all again. Hopefully next year we'll bring the convention confessional panel live back to Anime Boston, because I thought it went very well, and we'll do better about recording now that we have some more insight on how to do that. Yeah, that's right, more insight, Washi. Yeah. Um yeah. So, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Thanks for being there if you were there. And thanks for everybody to come, because now you have more stories and no excuses to come on the podcast and record me. So, there you go. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye.